What's up, everyone? It's Faith Daniels, and I'm sitting here with Grambling State University's head basketball coach, Donte Jackson. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Faith. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be able to sit down with you. But we're going to start our interview with a game:
Okay.
two truths and one lie. And so you'll have to tell me two truths, one lie, and I'll have to decide what the lie is.
Okay. 47 years old. Uh, I'm married with 3 kids.
You're not 47?
I'm not 47.
Okay. So you're like what, 30?
No, I'm 45.
Okay.
Yep.
Great age.
Yep.
Great age. The champ is here. You're just coming off of a great championship run, and I'm just so happy to see Grambling move into a forward direction. But I want to start from the beginning.
Okay.
You're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Can you share with us about your childhood and who introduced you to the game of basketball?
Oh man, born and raised from Milwaukee. I would say Milwaukee is always in my DNA. Made me who I am today. So I come from a family of blue collar workers. Grandfather went to work every day, hard nosed. If you get in trouble, he owned you. So and then I grew up in the projects. Single mom, and the thing was you had to work hard to go get what you want. And we was one of them people that there ain't nothing coming to you. You got to go take it.
You talked about earlier that your uncle had great influence on you wanting
Yep.
to play basketball. Can you speak a little bit
So
about
like
that?
with my uncle, man, that's when you say play, what made me want to play basketball, they go to my uncles and my cousins. My uncle was like my father figure, and like when he came back to college, he played college basketball, and that was like somebody I looked up to. So every time he went to go play ball, I went with him, and it just became a natural passion. And the thing about it is that I was actually better at football than I was at basketball. But then as time went on, the natural thing was just to play basketball because that's just what I was around. A little small story, I actually played running back, and then I transferred schools and I was going to play quarterback at my city school that I actually graduated from, Alexander Hamilton in Milwaukee. And when I went out there to play, the offensive line didn't look like the suburban offensive line, and it was over.
You didn't want to get hurt at all.
It wasn't about getting hurt. It's just not running for your life.
No, you're right. No CTE, no
Yeah,
concussion,
yeah.
none of those things. You went on to play at Milwaukee as well as
Yes,
Central State for your
yes, yes.
basketball career.
Yep.
How do you make a huge jump such as Milwaukee, Wisconsin, all the way to Ohio?
So I get that credit to my college coach and my first boss, Doug Lewis. Well, I say my second boss, but Doug Lewis was my uncle best friend. He recruited me out of high school to go to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I stayed there for 2 years, and I played my freshman year. I redshirted my sophomore year, and then Coach Lewis ended up taking a job at Central State. So I actually followed him to Central State, Ohio, and maybe like three of our players, like three players from our team, actually went with him down to Ohio and went down there, went to the national tournament during that period of time, and it was just a great run, man. I feel like I'm born and raised in Ohio, and but Central State made me a man.
So, can you share with us some of your fondest memories? You're a student athlete, you have to travel a lot. Teams are very close. Like, what
Yeah,
are some of those memories that you could reflect on?
man, it's really the wins. Like it was nothing like going to the national tournament together. Like the wins was everything. You hated the losses, especially the bad losses, because you never heard the end of it. Coach Grant, who was our head coach, he was actually the head coach at Southern for a while, Coppin State, and he made us run all the time if we lost. So it was always like, oh no, we can't lose. So it was just incredible, man. The thing that I loved about being at Central is that even to this day, like my best friends and like my guys I travel with the majority of the time, they all kind of came from Central, like barring my family. So it's just crazy, like ain't nothing like having those memories. Those memories are priceless.
You've had to transition from Ohio to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for Stillman, and both places you've been able to win. And now you're at Grambling. How would you describe the journey of Ohio to now Grambling, Louisiana?
Man, it's been it's been everything that I could have thought of and more. I was scared to be honest, like leaving Central, that was a comfort zone, being an assistant coach there, being a head coach there, you get a little nervous. I wouldn't say scared, but you nervous. So and then it was like moving to the South. I'm from the North, and I'm like, you moving all the way to Alabama, you hear all these stories and you like, oh man, it's gonna be the KKK, it's gonna be all this other stuff. But then you got down there, it was nothing like that. And it was actually moving. I actually lived in McCalla, right outside of Birmingham. I commuted to Tuscaloosa, but it was one of the best times of my life, man. I have some of the best neighbors I ever had, and like neighbors was like all that. Still keep in touch with my neighbors to this day from Alabama. So that was an enjoyable experience. And then coming to Grambling, it's just been great. Like I told people I got here, it was a dream job. I always wanted to be a Division One head coach, and when you get the opportunity, you gonna make it. You gonna make it do what it do.
Period. Louisiana is known for its food. Now we are in the north. I do feel like there's a difference when
Yeah,
north and South
yeah.
Louisiana comes to food. What are some of your favorite dishes that you've had since being here?
Well, listen, I love gumbo, but I don't. So a little thing, I don't eat seafood. I'm
Okay.
allergic to seafood, so I'm allergic to shellfish, I should say.
No,
Allergic to shellfish. So my wife, she get it all. I don't. You
you're
know what I
missing out.
mean? Yeah. So I love the catfish. Give me some jambalaya without the shrimp. Give me a gumbo without shrimp, and it's all good.
Okay. Speaking of your wife and your family, they've had to make this move multiple
Yeah,
times as well. How important is it to have a support system like your family?
I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am now.
Yeah.
Just to be honest with you, my wife, she does a lot in the background. She hold it down. Not only is she working in corporate 500 and being highly successful herself, but just making sure our kids and everything is taken care of on the day to day, and making sure that life at home is great. So no complaints on that. But I don't, in my personal opinion, guys sometimes leave their families behind, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I couldn't do that. Like we all going together, all right, or I ain't going.
Period.
Yeah,
You started your journey at GSU almost 8 years ago, and it was a losing program.
yep.
How did you approach a job where you're going to have to turn a program over like this soon?
Well, what I mean, like the tough part about coming here, I had a 2-year contract. But the way I looked at it was, heck, I was like on year-to-year contracts at every other school I had been at, so it didn't really matter, like whatever the case was. And relationships wise, I got different relationships than a lot of people. Say, for instance, my cousin runs a really, really good program, AAU, so I got access to players. My uncle run another program, so let's just say my cousin run a program on Adidas. My uncle run a program on Under Armour. My friends got programs on Nike. So my access to players is totally different than a lot of other people access to players. So I may not be able to get you the first go around, but I know I can get you the second or third, second go around or whatever the case may be. So coming in, you just look at the big picture, like it's about winning. And in life, you got to find a way to win. And that was our motto when we first walked in. I remember one of our first practices. It was might have been right around the time we had the State Fair Classic, and everybody wanted to go to the State Fair Classic. And then I was like, no, we're gonna practice at midnight.
Uh,
First day of practice midnight. They're like midnight. Oh yeah, because winners got to sacrifice.
yeah.
If you want to win, you got to sacrifice. You got to find a way to make things happen, and you got to sacrifice, and you got to find a way to win. And that was it. Like from that point on, they started buying in, and coming here and being able to say, I've been to a Division II NCAA tournament. I don't won this many games. I don't won that many games. Help them guys buy in, like with Ivy Smith and Nigel, AJ Gaston. Help them guys buy in early.
Okay. So when you talk about success and winners have to sacrifice, what is your definition of success? Is it just the wins? Is it the losses? Like what defines success for you?
Man, really for me, success is what these dudes do after basketball. Like, if we gonna win, we gonna lose. But I just want to make sure that when I'm done with the dudes that I affect, I had a positive effect on them, and they can win in life. And if they can win in life, I did my job.
Period.
Yeah,
You're just coming off of a championship, but before that championship, a bad taste was put in your mouth
yeah,
during the 2023 season where you guys lost
yeah,
in the championship. I don't think I've ever seen your face be so plain, like or in shock that that happened. There were injuries,
yeah,
important injuries that played into that. I don't think the team was just better.
yeah.
Just at that time, missing so many key components. What did that loss teach you?
Uh, you know that you gotta cherish this. You know, that was the most wins that we had in program history here at Grambling. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? 24-9, incredible season, but we didn't finish the way we wanted to finish. And for the seniors like Cam Christian, like Shondarius Coward, them guys, like they put the work in.
yeah,
Being here, Cam 3 years, well 4 years, and then Shondarius 2 years. Like they put the work in to be great, and then they come up short for them. It was disappointing. It was really heartbreaking. But hey, it was more motivation for the fight.
Yes, it definitely shaped the next season,
Yep.
which I would definitely entitle revenge
That's it.
for. I've heard a lot of players say that that was the hashtag for you guys. So to come back and to beat that team, that same
Yep.
team, how did that feel, and how were you able to access the growth from the previous year to now?
Well, I just think that Jordan Smith got hurt in that the semifinals going into the championship game. He couldn't go. And then we just had just wasn't in the right space. Like we get down 20 points, we come back, take the lead, then end up losing by 2 or 3 or whatever the case is. But when those guys came back the next year, Tremichael Moton, Jordan Smith, John McCool, they ain't want that taste again. They know what it's like to get just that close and not play your best. So I had no doubt when we got to that tournament what time it was. I knew it was on everybody's mind, and I knew it was on their heart. And the young guys, they understood the mission that we know they, poured into them about how you can be good, but you got to be good for 4 days and 3 nights. And then one of the things I talked to them about that was really important is that we got the number one seed because we end up tying with Alcorn, and it ended up being like we took the 2 seed, but then in the process of having that 2 seed, we didn't have the rest.
Yeah.
And then if we'd have had just a little more rest, I felt like would have been in a good situation. But we didn't have the rest, so they knew we needed that number one seed, and by all means, like we gonna get that number one seed.
You all made history going past like the first initial round
Yep.
of the tournament, and Vice President Kamala Harris called and talked to you guys, congratulated you guys.
Hopefully, future president.
Future president, okay? Shout out to my soror.
Yeah.
How did it feel to get that call and to know that you guys are doing something so great that somebody, not just anybody, but somebody from the White House
Yeah.
reached out and is watching you?
It was really surreal,
Yeah.
because it's like, please hold the White House, please hold like the White House. Who like who?
Yeah.
Who? Like, and it was just like, wow, man, I'm talking to the vice president. Like, this is crazy. And not only am I talking to her, she talking to all of us. Everybody. Team, everybody. Support staff, everybody that's around, and it's just like, wow. It's you. You don't know how big of a deal it is until it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, wow, it's a big deal.
No, it's a big deal. I was so excited. I was on Twitter,
Yeah.
Twitter fingers,
Yeah.
posting memes. If
Yeah.
anybody says anything smart, I'm
Yeah.
coming for everybody. And normally I don't have Twitter fingers.
Yeah.
I'm professional.
Yeah. No
So
doubt.
it was just so exciting to see you guys, and also to have gone to Grambling while you've been coaching.
Yeah.
So to have a relationship and to see it, it's just so beautiful to see. And then you get noticed by the White House and just ultimately all of America, because they didn't expect, Grambling to be there.
Well, that was the thing that I told our guys. Like, I don't expect us to win. Like, they think we just some random black college. Like,
Yeah.
we really play basketball. So, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna like our SWAC conference is really good basketball. The tough part
Yeah.
about it is if you take out the bye games and you
Yeah.
put us against the lower 16 conferences in the country,
Yeah.
we're one of the better conferences if we're playing on neutral sites. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying we're at the top of the top 16, but if you put us at the regular 16, the regular FCF schools, we're going to be at the top of that just in our conference. But when we have to go fundraise and play 8, 9 games, that's kind of out of our league, just because we
Yeah.
don't have the size at times. Well, that's where people try to judge you at. But I know, like, if we play a normal team on a regular day, a regular basis, like, hey, we done came here, we done beat 3 Power 5. So, like, between Georgia Tech, Vandy, and Colorado, we done beat them over my time being here, and that's almost unheard of. So if you put us against a evenly matched team,
Yeah.
I think I'm a coach and out recruit just as much as anybody else think they is. So the only difference is I'm gonna make sure my guys go out there and prove it.
One thing I've noticed throughout the years with your rosters, you're big on giving people a second chance.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's from the childhood
Yeah.
that you've had and the adversity that come through. How do you continue to keep the standard of what you consider Grambling basketball, as well as giving people a second chance to get it right?
Well, I feel like that was my situation. I had to leave a chance in Milwaukee. Like,
Yeah.
so I got my second chance at Central. Like, at the end of the day, we don't always go into this and make the best decisions. And sometimes it takes some of us a little longer to mature.
Yeah.
So as long as a person is where they at, long as throughout the recruiting process, they in a situation where we feel like they're mature, they really want to better themselves,
Mhm.
then yes, we give them a second chance because at the end of the day, I think that's what life is about. Life is about second chances. Life is about being a giver. And the more you give, the more blessings you'll receive.
Speaking of giving, we can't talk about Grambling basketball without talking about Willis Reed.
Come on now.
He used to come back a lot and pour into your student athletes as
Yes.
well as you. Can you talk about you guys' relationship throughout the years?
Listen, I don't know if I'm here if it ain't for Willis Reed. So Mr. Bryant and myself, Willis Reed, his family, we all went out to during the time I was interviewing for the job. We all went out, ate together, talked, and talked basketball. We talked about some different people, my background in Milwaukee, knowing some of the Bucks, and one of my uncle best friends. We go back to my uncle all the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's Terry Porter. Terry Porter is a former NBA coach and former NBA player. So knowing all this and talking to Willis and being able to make some phone calls about me, and he like, "You gonna be our next coach." Like,
Very many
I was like, man, I appreciate that. And I'm thinking to myself, for real? But all right, let's do it.
I love that. Many people would say you're pretty chill, but
Yeah.
when you're in the locker room after a win, you're always coming up with a new dance
I
move.
don't know about that.
And there's this viral dance move, doing the
Yeah,
1, 2.
yeah.
It's like you're a kid again whenever wins come. So how do you like describe those emotions and even the dance that's going viral?
Well, the thing of it is, it just happened in the moment. You know what I mean? Because I ain't no big dancer. My wife would tell you, like, bro, you ain't got no rhythm. But like, I ain't no big dancer. But at the end of the day, it's just more or less like it's in the moment, and I like being able to be. I want my kids to know the real me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like when they come out here for practice, the music is on. They probably don't be like, Coach rapping these songs. Like,
Yes.
Coach know all the songs too. You know what I mean? At the
Yes.
end of the day, I got kids y'all age for real. So
Yeah.
it ain't like I ain't too far removed from everything that's going on. So it's like I want them to know me. And we gonna celebrate together, we gonna have fun together. Like I tell them, we win together, we lose together.
Yeah.
We gonna do it all together.
So you have 7 seasons, so that's 7 different groups.
Yep.
Out of those 7, who would you say is your favorite group, favorite season? I know you don't want to be too specific, but who are some of your favorite out
Man,
of your group of
how can I say like I don't know if I have a favorite because they like your children. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I don't know if I have a favorite. Like if they somebody was like, "Who's your favorite child?" I don't have a favorite child. I love them all. Like
yeah,
I love all three of my kids. I love all 70 some, 80 some players that came through this program. But like, uh, I would probably say like Zahad Munford, uh, Tremichael Moulton. They was 5 years with me. Like I can
yeah,
watch them and be like, "Yeah, you having a bad day. Let me go talk to you. What's going on?
yeah,
What's the problem here?" Like you
yeah,
could just because you've been around them so long, and I just know when you whatever having a bad day, and then like Cam Christian 4 years, like
yeah,
Ivy Smith 3 years, like AJ Gasson 3 years. It's those kids that just been around the program, and they that they sacrificed to win, and they just brought something else besides just playing basketball. And even with like AJ, Cam, Ivy, Nigel, the fraternity and the community service and all the work that they did. It's just like, oh, okay, I get it. It's bigger than basketball, but at the same time, you still finding a way to be a great basketball player.
yeah. I just need to know, do you have any hobbies outside of coaching basketball?
Man, honestly, man, for me, it's really God, family, and basketball. Like, I really don't do too much. Like, and I have my time where I may, enjoy life a little bit. I spend time traveling or whatever the case is. But other than that, like,
Who are your top 3 artists right now?
top three right now.
Because you're dancing to the music, so you
Jay
have to
is
like some.
always Jay is always in here. So whenever I'm playing my Jay Z, they like, oh, coach, you old, you old, you old. Right now, Future mixtape is going hard. I'm
Okay.
enjoying Future mixtape, and my new dude that I really like is Boss Man D-Lo. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah, so what I mean, I'm in tune with what they in tune with. So I got to make sure I'm figuring out the tunes. So when I be able to put my bounce on, I got my rhythm
Yeah.
right.
Do you have any female artists that you like?
I
Rappers?
mean, I mean, Glow got anthems. Like
Yeah.
Glow is like the anthem queen. You know what I mean? I always like Nicki and Wayne. Them like if I can have a Nicki Wayne and Drake, I always had
Yeah.
like a little mix of that. That was like my '90s, that 2009 to 2015 run, where they was just dropping hit after hit. But I mean, right now it's I mean, I listen to pretty much everything. Glow, she turn up, and I hear it's something degrees outside.
Yeah,
I hear my
95 degrees.
degrees. I
Okay.
ain't got no, and ain't nobody got me. So
Okay.
it's all good. So yeah,
Yes.
so it's always something.
Okay, so during the summer, Drake and Kendrick had this epic rap battle. Whose side were you on? Who do you think won?
I ain't really pick a side because at the end of the day, I was just like I was enjoying good music, and the most
Yeah.
important thing I was just hoping we weren't gonna have no hip hop tragedies. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because in the past, we get these rap beefs or whatever, and then you got the Tupac with Biggie, you get these type of you lose some great MCs and great people. So I was just hoping it didn't go nowhere that it did need to go.
I'm a fan of both. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say who I felt won, but I do feel like it was a great moment in terms of real
Yeah.
music
Real
coming
music,
out,
yeah.
real lyrics,
Yeah.
understanding the power of like storytelling. So,
Yeah.
okay, I like the neutral vibes.
Yeah.
So, I want to make sure that I say this statistic correct.
Okay.
Okay. You are 3 wins away from having the most wins in D1 history. How surreal is that? Especially with just 7 seasons going into 8 and being at an HBCU.
Man, to be anywhere and say you got the most of anything is a major accomplishment, but I don't really look at it like that. I just go in, we just going to work. Like we go, I guess, like the awards and all that type stuff, man. I rather always say that's about our coaching staff and it's about the players. You know what I mean? And like to say that you're gonna be the most, especially here at Grambling, it's like dang near, like, dang, you for real? Like, I'm talking about this legends here. So like I just keep it all in stride, man. Like don't how can I say don't get too high, don't get too low, because at the same way, this game it can be taken. So you just,
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing to get there.
They say the G is where legends are made. And before you walk away from the game of basketball as a coach, what do you want to be remembered for?
Man, I just want to be remembered as a person that gave opportunities. And, people made the best of their opportunities and I help people. You know what I mean? Like I'm always into, helping people, man. Like I just want to be a person that's a giver, that show love, and just, I came in and I respected everybody. You may not like the way I went about it, but it was always respect that I gave people. So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it.
If you had a message to give to Gram Fam and all of the supporters, what would it be?
If I had a message, man, I would just tell people, man, just, support our student athletes in any capacity because we're in a time where this generation really need guidance and leadership and they need outside support. And whether whether sometimes that's monetarily because you helping do different things, or if it's like a Kenny Sykes, how he come back and speak to the team, man, just support these kids, man, because we just in a time where I think generationally they don't always they look at now instead of worrying about trying to build for later. So everything is like, we got to do it now. And I'm like, no, no, no. Don't rush the process. Like you can't compare. Like we live through social media so much. Like don't compare yourself to the next person. Run your race. And in life, you got to run your race. And that's the one thing that I tell our guys. And I just tell them, Grand Fam just support them.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us. And I think it's safe to say that the revenge tour continues.
Oh, it still continues. Like it ain't over.
Period. Thank you.
No problem.